everybody. We're back by popular demand. Didn't know it was going to be such a big deal, but I appreciate everybody attending the second one. We're going to do the county commissioners tonight. We have 2 for the east side and 5 for the west side, and also the state senate representatives. For you guys that were not here last time, my questions are more like paragraphs. They tend to try to acknowledge to the audience a little bit about kind of roundabout way how we're coming across that question. So it may kind of inform them, but at the same time be a question for you, if that makes sense, okay? And then afterwards, I don't know if any of you guys are opposed or not, but last time we had plenty of people from the audience that wanted to do questions from the floor. And we would not be opposed to doing that a second time if any of you guys are okay with that. And then after we get done with a couple of questions, then we'll kind of go from there as well. Last time we did 5 minutes, this time 3 minutes, since there's so many of you. The timer's in the back. You've got a 3-minute start, a 1-minute warning, and a sign that says you're done. So be looking for those as well. And in either case, the 2 pretty ladies in the back row right here will kind of be the referees of that as well. So Gary, I'm going to just let you guys, I tried to just go ahead and generate questions that would appeal to all of you, not just west side, east side. So I'm going to just start down there and let you each have kind of 3 minutes with the question. And then we'll just go on to the next one, kind of, you know, just start it back over that way every time if y'all are okay with that. All right. Everybody ready? So question number 1, providing water to the town of Dodge City and nearby communities, including Good Hope, Hanceville, Colony, Garden City, Bremen, Arkadelphia, Cold Springs, and even Spring Hill are within the water coverage area of the Coleman County Commission system. The Duck River Reservoir, located in the northeast area of the county, is expected to now cost $40 million more and has a price tag of nearly $110 million. Dodge City wants to stay competitive when promoting residential and industrial development to our area. As commissioner, what is your plan to keep? Your plan on keeping our water rates from rising in order to cover the overages? And how much additional ownership are you willing to take on from here concerning the Duck River project?
That's a big question. Is that a paragraph or a book?
Listen.
You could have started off with an easier question. The Duck River's in progress. There's not a lot that we're going to do to change the fact that it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be expensive to the users that are on that system, especially the high volume users. So if I understand the question correctly, I think the best thing that we can do is have good representation from these areas or from the county on the water boards and in the decision process. Now, in order to keep these rates lower, our rates are going to increase, and there's going to be probably added expenses after the 110 million. So with that said, I think the best thing that we can do is to have a good voice and good representation for the county.
JP Watt, same question.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Dodge City Merchants Association for allowing us to have this forum, and thank you, and thanks for everybody that's come out. The main thing, in my opinion, as far as keeping water rates as low as we can keep them, the main thing, I am a poultry grower, so it does affect me directly. And I don't have all the answers as to how we can keep water rates low, but whatever we can do as far as getting a group of people together and discussing, my main goal is to try to keep water rates as affordable as we can. And I know, it may not be exactly popular, but especially for poultry growers, because we use a tremendous amount of water. And, you know, if water rates do go up on residences, which I'm sure they will, you know, even for my residents, it's separate. You know, I could probably afford to pay a little bit more on my residential water rates. Might could pay a little bit more on my commercial rate, but considering the amount of water that we do use, and the poultry industry being one of the largest industries in the county, along with other manufacturing people that's in the county, I specifically want to look at some way to keep those water rates low. And so, you know, whatever it takes, putting a group of people together to sit down and discuss how we can do that, you know, that would be my interest. And, you know, obviously if Duck River, it's a going thing. So, you know, the main thing from here on out is just seeing how we can keep things. It's got to be paid for, but we need to keep water rates as low as we can, and that will be one of my projects that I will definitely work on. Thank you.
Someone who I think knows a little bit about the Duck River project, Mr. Gray.
Well, number one, it's my understanding, I was on the VAW water board some years ago, and my understanding, if you use the water, you got to pay for it. So that's the bottom line, and I'm sure that's what we would hear from Coleman. We have an advisory board from the county on the city utility board, which is part of over the Duck River Dam. These folks appointed by the three commissioners. The chairman of that committee is Jimmy Knight, which most of you in here probably know or know something about to some extent. He's probably got more knowledge as far as the water situation in Coleman County than any other man. He was there back, I think, in the 40s and 50s when things were first gearing up and spreading out and going to the county and so forth. So Jimmy knows it well. I got him appointed as our chairman of that board. So he sits on the utility board as an advisor listing that can make an input to it. But the county is not involved in the Duck River Dam. All we were ever involved in was signing the contract to purchase water from the city rather than trying to go to Smith Lake or the Tennessee River. And so really it's a city problem, but however, we're part of that problem because of the fact that we're having to buy water from them. And I can readily understand that. It's still cheaper, I think, at the time when we signed the contract. The cheaper option to go and do it ourselves was Smith Lake, which was a cost of about $75 million. And so when you're talking about $40 million increase, golly, Pete, nobody in the world wanted to see that. But it's there. Most of you have heard, if you're associated with the road department or whatever, there's a thing out there they call it white horse. It's like a white sticky clay that we are blessed with in Coleman County, all over the place. And when they were doing the bore test and never showed up, when they started digging for the base of the dam, that's when they found this stuff. And that's why the cost is going up to that extent, because they're having to go in there and dig that out and then replace it. It was nothing to do as far as engineering or whatever is concerned, but it increased the cost. So therefore, we're going to have to pay the penalty. Now, I was told before I ever left the commission at home that we had folks into Coleman County proposing to buy any excess water that Coleman County could produce because of the Duck River Dam. So we're not just sitting here with this excess water doing nothing with it with a huge cost. It can be sold to the extent that we can afford to sell it for as long as we can afford until we personally need it ourselves, and it's going to have to stop. But if hopefully the utility board will clarify that sometime in the future or talk about it, and the fact that it don't necessarily have to cost us this much as far as the overage is concerned, if they can sign a contract. And needless to say, the people who are wanting our water is south of us, not, even though the folks up in Decatur did talk about that also to some extent because of the contamination of the Tennessee River. But here we stand, and we'll deal with it. Thank you.
Williams, it is your opportunity.
As a growing community, I think the Duck River project was a great idea. I hate the fact that it turned out to cost a little more, but we're going to need that water supply. And I'm willing to work with other members of the commission, the water board, to try to keep our rates down as much as possible. I hate high bills. I'm sure you hate high bills. I'm going to do what I can to keep them down. Thank you.
Mr. Yarbrough.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Dodge City Merchants for having this forum tonight, and thank the mayor and council for the facility that they furnished to give it to us for being. The Duck River project is a needed project and been needed for years. They started this project about 20 years ago, and about 20 years ago, I think it was a $40 to $50 million project. 20 years later, it's about a $110 million project. So, you know, we lost a lot of grant money and over the lawsuits, fighting lawsuits that we had to fight to get this project. We have a advisory board in place now to work with a high-cost water rate, what it's going to cost the county. We're working with the city, negotiation, and you know, we're aware of it, and we're doing everything that we can to make this water affordable to the people of Coleman County. Thank you.
Mr. Watson.
I'd like to thank the Dodge City Merchants Association for having us. I appreciate it. And I'd like to thank y'all for being here to hear us speak. The water situation is a serious problem, and I agree we need a second water source. But what it's going to go up is a concern not just to me, but our senior citizens and our poultry farmers. They are really concerned, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to keep those rates within reason. But a lot of the stuff is out of our hands. We don't have no control of it. I mean, it's been taken away from us where we can have a say on it. The city sets the wholesale rate that we have to pay. So we have to work with that wholesale rate to keep us within a reasonable rate for us to for our citizens to be able to survive. So what I'll do, I'll work as hard as I can to keep those rates affordable and do whatever's in my power to keep it there. Thank you.
Darrell did.
Scott, I'd like to thank you and the merchants of Dodge City for giving us this opportunity to speak with the citizens here. 4 years ago, when I ran for commissioner, it wasn't on my bucket list. I ran because of the Duck River Dam. I had managed the water system in this county for a number of years. I crossed over Lake Potomac in 07 and 08 and seen that we had less than a month's supply of water left in Coleman County. I think and after I've got into office, I have looked at a lot of the figures and records, and the Duck River project is the best and the cheapest alternative for a secondary water source in Coleman County. So I fully support the project out there. I think the $110 million estimate that came out in the paper was a little premature. I've attended most of the utility board meetings and listened to the discussion. And now they did a new study on the floodplain out there, redesigned the dam. That's come off about $7 million. We haven't bid the project yet. There are 7 big companies that understand that are going to bid on this project. I expect it to be very competitive, and I predict, whether Darrell Hicks is worth predicting, that it's going to come under $100 million by several $1 million. Now, everybody's going to pay the wholesale rate, the same wholesale rate, whether it's Walter or Coleman County or the city of Coleman. Buy water at the same price. But I think, Scott, the question you asked is what can we do to help lessen the rates out there? I think by Coleman County having a strong water system that is well managed is going to be the way that we can hold rates down. And that's what I intend to do, is to work with our water department to make sure that they're very conservative, that they supply the water in an economical way to our customers in Coleman County. That's the only way we're going to lower water rates, is by good management in Coleman County water system.
quick follow-up on that. Do you think the city at this point is well, you can start it off if you want, but do you think the city is completely locked in on that deal now, or do you think at some point they're gonna come back to the county and ask you guys to take on some ownership to try to defer some of the cost of the overdraft?
No, I don't look for the county. They started this bond issue, and I don't think you can split up bond issues. All they ask us to do is to agree, like Mr. Graves said, to purchase water from them. And that's what we agreed to do. And I thought it was a good deal myself. I didn't like the idea of Coleman County floating a $80 million bond and going into the water business ourselves, and it being paid for by half the citizens in Coleman County, where you could go a few more $1 million, it'd be shared by everybody in Coleman County. And we serve people in Morgan County and other counties as well. We want to help pay for that. Also, I understand there's some plans to sell some raw water and some other systems from that, which would help with the cost of this.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else that had a comment on that? I just want to clarify that because I'm still digging in my own research.
I don't see that happening.
Okay. All right, Mr. Marshman, are you ready?
Oh, yes, sir.
I guess since he wanted a simpler question, it is this one. The county operates about a $49.3 million budget. So how many accounting classes have you had? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Good deal, good deal. That'll help. Question number 2. The city of Coleman has recently been working with the Bass Hall of Fame and the developers of the Coleman Shopping Center, Merchant Retail Partners. Economic growth is great for all of Coleman County. However, the Dodge City Merchants Group wants Dodge City to be competitive amongst the likes of the city of Coleman and other nearby municipalities. The county commission should be an ally for municipalities such as Dodge City to help recruit and represent our best interests. And in order to better compete, yet we feel a strong, physically sound government is essential out of you guys. Factoring in the scenarios such as the Bass Hall of Fame, the Coleman Shopping Center redesign, and projects like Duck River, and the handling of such by the city of Coleman, what are your plans to maintain a top-tier bond rating for the county, allowing for the development of projects in areas such as Dodge City? And then what risk are you willing to take using those taxpayer dollars?
I'm gonna try to keep it simple. Yes.
Yes, and
You know, you're gonna have to manage assets no matter what you do, budgets and assets. Money's a big deal. It's always gonna be, but you gotta put that money in the right places. Now, you know, if you break it down to how can we help you as Dodge City, let's look at that. We can help you one way by giving you every asset that we have available to operate off of. And what I mean by that is, if you need our economic development department to help you with a project that you've got going on for the future, then we're going to be there for you. If you need our equipment and our resources, then we're going to let you have that at cost. That's what I'm going to do for you. It's not going to cost you extra to use the county's equipment to help you in your municipality, and that goes for all the municipalities. Now, the second part of that you were talking about with the Bass Hall of Fame, you know, if you go back, shoot, I'm gonna run out of time. You know, we were talking earlier about the poultry industry. Let me throw some numbers at you. $2.4 billion has come into this county because of the poultry industry. 15,500 jobs. You know, that's almost half of the people that are employed in Coleman. deal one way or another with the poultry industry. So we have to keep the industry that's here strong, okay? And that includes our small businesses. Over 70% of the people that work in Coleman work for small businesses. So these people that have 2 or 3 people that work for them are just as important as a business that has 400. And we've got to look at it like that. And we got to take care of them, the existing business and the existing people that are in business here, every way possible. Because that's what is going to be the backbone behind your municipality growing or us growing as a county. Did I answer your question?
Just read about Did you want that question or how many accounting classes? Either one.
Well, since I've already forgot the question. Give me a little overview.
Well, I mean, basically, the last sentence is basically what you wanted to know. So what are your plans to maintain a top-tier bond rating for the county and allowing for the development of projects in areas such as Dodge City? And what risk are you willing to take with the taxpayers' dollars?
Well, the main thing, as far as trying to keep Coleman County at the top financially, that's always, that's what we need to do. And I don't have all the answers because I have never been in office before. But there are people that have been, and there are people that control those things, and I am willing to work with them every day to make sure that what we're doing is the best, the most fair, and the honest thing to do. And as far as helping our other municipalities, Dodge City, Fairview, West Point, wherever, I think the county has done a decent job at helping in those aspects. And if I'm elected, I'll be more than willing to help if, as far as equipment and stuff like that, if it's where we can, we'll be more than happy, to help out. As far as helping out financially, if that's part of the question, we would just have to look at it at that time and see what we could and could not do. But the main thing, if I am elected, is to do the very best I can do and be honest about it, be fair about it. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. If there's any way that we can help, we'll be more than happy to try to do that.
Mr. Graves.
In 2008, when I was elected as chairman of the county commission, came into office, the whole national economy of the United States was on a dive, headed down. Let's say probably the worst since the Great Depression. We lost revenue, folks. Let me tell you something from the county. I mean, we lost revenue. So we had to put the brakes on, came mighty close to having to have, general layoff throughout the county. But we held tight and was able to, but we couldn't give pay raises or anything of this nature. We don't want to get into that kind of situation. We want it so that we got some excess money. Matter of fact, the County Commission Association has a thing that we're all party to, whatever they state that you will have 10% of your budget setting aside for rainy day funds, for emergencies, things of this nature. There were counties in 2008, 2009, 2010 who had to go to the bank and borrow money in order to meet payroll. Don't ever want to be that tight as far as funds is concerned. We got to have some set aside for those purposes and maintain it in this excess. I think that Bass Pro Shop is a wonderful thing. If they choose to come to Coleman County and locate down there off of 222 when we get that new interchange done, and it will be done, ground will be broke this summer, folks. If they want to do that, fantastic, come on down, but you're going to have to get the money for it. I cannot see, and I totally agree, the 2 associate commissioners are the ones who has to vote to approve or disapprove something as far as spending money is concerned with the county commission. I'm total agreement with Darrell Hicks, based on whatever it is, if it's water or anything else, of obligating the money as far as the county is concerned to give over here to get that facility coming in with the hope that it's going to entice enough people coming through, stopping off, as visitors on the highway and all that, and pay something to get into this thing and maybe learn how to fish. I don't see it generating, Doc, $28 million. And that's the price That's the price of that Bass Pro Shop, getting it built and getting that thing in there. As far as Dodge City is concerned, Mayor, some years ago, there was talk for a while about building a motel out here. And then they were talking about putting possibly one of those mall things out here, an outlet mall. And they looked at it, and one of the things they needed was water. We wound up running about a 13, 14 inch, Stanley, you might remember that, water line under the interstate and on down, because chickens were dying in Brushy Pond and Bremen and Cold Springs in the summertime when it got so hot. We couldn't get enough water to them. The water was simply running out, so we had to do something to facilitate that. I want the flexibility to be able to help Dodge City, Garden, Good Hope, whoever type thing, to help them out if times get bad, and us not be sitting there with no money in the bank and our credit rating down and having difficulty even borrow the money to assist. It will never happen on my watch. Never happen on my watch. Thank you.
Dodge City and Clinton County in general is a growing community. We're going to continue to keep growing. I'd be willing to work with Dodge City, any other municipality, to help in any way that they need for economic growth. I think it's a great thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Yarbrough.
We got a little bit of misconception on the Bass Pro Shop in 222. It's a Bass Fishing Hall of Fame and not a Bass Pro Shop. But anyway, that will generate revenue for the whole Coleman County. It's not just for the city of Coleman. Any tax revenue that is acquired by that facility will be put into a pot and be divided amongst all the municipalities in the Coleman County. Since I've been a commissioner, we have partnered with the city on several projects, such as the 222 interchange, and been promoting revenue for them. We promoted helped Dodge City with a water line going to the truck stop over here. We worked with the community at Cold Springs and helped build a community center in Cold Springs. We worked with Town of Fairview and getting the Brandon Lawn Restaurant and a turn lane put in out there along with the SS Grocery. No, and any time that we can use our county equipment to facilitate anyone in our community, we do that. Margaret Jean Jones, we helped them build a center down there. It's great for those kids. And we've done this at cost. We don't make no money, we just incur the cost back to the county of what it cost us. And in the future, I plan to help every town, every community in this county to prosper and grow. Because if we grow, that means more revenue for Dodge City, Garden City, Fairview, everybody in Coleman County.
Thank you, Mr. Watson.
I would work the budget like I run my budget. And if people know how I run my budget at home, I'm pretty strict with it. So I'm gonna run the county's money like it's my money, because it is our money. And that's the way I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna work with each community, because I believe as each community grows, we grow as a county. So I'm gonna work hard with our Coleman County Economic Development Group to try to bring new industry in, because I want to see us grow. I want to see us keep our people here working, give jobs for the young people. Our young people are moving away because we don't have jobs here. So we need to move those folks in here where we can have them and keep them, because that's more tax money we're losing as people move away. So that would be what I would do to work with everybody. Thank you.
It's been a while, but I think some of your question was that what would Coleman County do to help Dodge City? Well, it's been a common practice as long as I've been in, as far as your infrastructure, that we take county equipment, come into your town, and we do repair work, paving work for you at cost. And that's a real added benefit for you because, see, each town gets the same gasoline tax dollars that the county does. So what we do, we take some of our gasoline tax dollars and help